Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another review, so if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. A lot went down in this episode, so let's just get right into this review. So at the very beginning of this episode, Natalie ended up putting together a pool party for the girls because she said that the fight that went down at the club between Biggie and Scarface went a little bit too far because they weren't able to go inside the club and they weren't able to make any money. So she ended up inviting the girls from House B to come over because she claims that she doesn't want the girls to get into any fist fights. She wants them to fight a different type of way at the pool party, and so that's the reason why she said she ended up blowing up water balloons. But honestly, I didn't believe that Natalie doesn't want them to fight, because if she didn't want them to fight, then why didn't she tell Scarface not to attack Biggie when she showed up? Because Scarface was crouched down behind the gate waiting for Biggie to show up so that she can attack her the way that she felt like Biggie attacked her at the club. So when the girls from House B end up showing up to the pool party, that's when Scarface is crouched down by the gate so that she can attack Biggie as soon as she showed up. But to me, Biggie was on high alert. Like, she was on the bus saying that she wasn't going to go there to swim. She didn't bring a bathing suit. She was wearing pants and sneakers, so she was obviously ready to fight. So when she showed up, she was looking around anyway, trying to see if she can see where Scarface was. And as soon as Biggie walked through the gate, that's when Scarface popped up and the two of them ended up having a scuffle. The reason why I'm calling it a scuffle is because the ground was so slippery, it seemed to be slippery, that they weren't able to actually really get control of each other. This fight was chaotic because honestly, they kept going at it over and over and over again. They were flipping each other over, they were sliding, they were falling. It was just a hot mess. But I'm glad that security actually stepped up in this situation and they stopped Rolly from going over there, because Rolly started wobbling her ass over there from out of the pool and she was walking over to where Biggie was at, and security stopped her because I think she was going to try to hit Biggie too. And I think that that's stupid that she gets involved in every single beef that Scarface has on the show. Like, I just don't understand why she always gets involved every single time Scarface is beefing with somebody. I mean, it's none of her business, to be honest with you. And when the fight between Scarface and Biggie ended up getting broken up and security ended up moving Biggie away from Scarface, that's when Natalie decides to go up to Biggie and start yelling in her face about how she messed up their money because they had to leave the club because she decided to, smack Scarface in the face right before they were going into the club. And I understand that they want to make money and they don't really want to fight when they're out, but I feel like Natalie wouldn't have had that same energy if it was somebody else who would have cost them the money at the club. And from what we were able to see from last season, they don't even really make any money from the club. They have to split that money between a bunch of different girls, so nobody really even makes any money anyway. They end up getting paid to be on the show, so I don't understand why Natalie made it that big of a deal. I know that if it was somebody that she was afraid to fight, like Tasiki, who ended up causing a scene at the club, I know she wouldn't have yelled in her face like that. And if it was one of the girls that she actually liked, I don't think that she would have reacted the way that she reacted. I'm surprised that Biggie was able to keep her cool in that situation. I think she didn't want to disrespect Natalie because this is her show, and I think that she wants to continue to be a part of the show, and so probably that's the reason why she didn't put her hands on Natalie. Things also got pretty ugly between Rolly, Scarface, and Camilla, because Scarface was telling Camilla, tell them that you saw this guy hit me and come up to me and approach me. And Camilla was saying that she heard the guy come up to her, but she didn't, see him put his hands on her, and she doesn't know who the guy was. And so Rolly and Scarface were yelling at Camilla, which again, like I said, Rolly always feels the need to include herself in any beef that Scarface has on the show, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And honestly, I was surprised that Camilla was able to keep her cool in that situation too, because she had these two girls yelling in her face. At one point, I thought that Camilla was gonna fight one of the girls because she ended up going back onto the bus with Biggie and she changed into some sneakers and a cover-up. So I honestly thought that she was gonna end up fighting, but that's not what ended up happening. And despite all the drama that ended up going down, they still ended up having a good time at the pool party, so I think that everything went well overall. But what I will say was that I did not like that security ended up chasing down Biggie when she ran upstairs to try to touch Scarface's belongings, because they didn't do that same thing when Scarface was touching Biggie's things in the previous episode. They sat there and basically allowed her to pack up this girl's stuff and at least drag it into the hallway. But when it was Biggie trying to do it to Scarface, they ran after her and wouldn't even let her go into the room. I understand that it's against the rules of the show to go in people's rooms and touch their things, but they should have had that same energy for Scarface as well. And honestly, I was actually surprised that despite all the fighting that went down at the pool party, that they were able to go to the club and everybody was able to get along and there was no drama or any fighting. But everyone was kind of taken aback by the way that DJ Sky was acting at the club. When they walked into the club, DJ Sky was already there because obviously she's the DJ for the show. She had sunglasses on, she had a really short dress on, she was standing up, sipping out of a bottle, she had her song playing in the background, she was singing her song, and then at one point she ended up crowd surfing backwards into the crowd, and she had her dress on, and so she had her legs wide open, and it was like, what the hell is she doing? Like, I understand that she wants to be seen as part of the cast and she doesn't want to be left out, but at the same time I think that she's been going about it the wrong way. I mean, I understand she doesn't want to be in the background, but then she should negotiate her contract a little bit differently if she doesn't want to be the DJ anymore. But I did think that it was kind of rude the way that Natalie was looking at her and rolling her eyes, because why put her on the show at all if you don't want her to be seen? Oh, and I also forgot to mention that Sky ended up riding on the bus with the other girls this time. Like, she rode on the bus with Natalie, Rolly, Scotty, Mariahlynn, Scarface, and, Rolly ended up getting in her confessional and saying that Sky is disgusting because she ended up peeing in a cup while she was on the bus, like in front of everybody. And according to Rolly, the pee was sliding around the bus, which I think that's disgusting too. But I feel like Rolly should have said what she had to say in her confessional to Sky's face. Like, if she doesn't want Sky to ride with them anymore, which is what she said in her confessional, then why not say it to Sky's face? Because if that was Biggie or Smiley that did that, she would have had something to say. So the next day, Natalie ends up telling the girls from House A that stay with her that the girls from House B are going to meet with them in Times Square because she has a really big surprise for them. And so when they all end up meeting up in Times Square, they actually had a good time. Like, they had a really good time. And honestly, that was my favorite part of the episode, was watching them in Times Square, because usually we just see a bunch of drama and fighting. We never really get to see them have a good time. So now it was time for Natalie to let the girls know what the surprise was, and so she ended up lining them up in Times Square, and she tells them to look up, and there's a really big Baddies billboard. Now, everybody was excited about it because obviously they're excited, they're on the show, it's a big billboard, so everybody's gonna get more attention to the show, so they were excited about it. Unfortunately, that excitement only lasted a few seconds, because the billboard ended up changing into a really big picture of DJ Sky on it. And so they were really confused because they don't understand why DJ Sky would do something like that. Like, obviously DJ Sky did that on purpose. She felt like she was being left out. She wasn't invited to go to Times Square with them. And obviously in this episode, they find out another surprise that I don't think that DJ Sky is going to be a part of. So she felt left out. So she decided to put her face on a really big billboard. She thought that that was one up on the other girls because this one had her face and her name on it, whereas the other one only had the Baddies logo on it. And I honestly feel like Natalie could care less about DJ Sky, and so she barely even mentioned this whole billboard situation. She didn't mention it at all, actually. They kind of just looked at each other and left it alone. And because Natalie said that she had one more surprise, she ended up bringing everybody out to dinner in Harlem, and everybody was really excited to find out what the news was, and Natalie ends up telling them all that she's bringing them to Jamaica. Now, I'm actually excited to see the girls go to Jamaica because every season so far they haven't gone overseas. Last season they did bring some of the girls overseas, but we really didn't get to see anything. It was the very last second of the last episode, so it didn't really make any sense for them to do it. But this time Natalie is bringing all the girls to Jamaica. And everybody was really excited to hear about this, and everybody was having a really good time, joking around, laughing with each other, and enjoying their meal, up until Sukihana ended up showing up. Now, the reason the energy changed when Sukihana ended up showing up is because Sukihana ended up making a post on social media while she wasn't around any of the other girls, and she called out a few of the girls and said that they need to go home. The people that she said needed to go home was Mariahlynn, Smiley, Anna, and also, T, which I thought was a little bit weird because some of the people that she was calling out, I didn't feel like they needed to be called out. Like, I don't feel like Smiley needed to be called out at all. I don't feel like, Anna needed to be called out, and I also didn't feel like T needed to be called out either. I feel like the only person that she called out who needed to be called out was Mariahlynn. Sukihana ended up addressing Smiley first, and she starts telling her that she feels like she needs to go home because she's not defending herself, and I just don't understand why people keep on saying that she doesn't defend herself. Like, she came on the show and she fought the person immediately as soon as she got on the show who she had beef with, which was Mariahlynn. She also fought Mariahlynn's sister, who she also had beef with, and even though she didn't want to fight Sapphire, she did fight back. I mean, she had Sapphire by her hair and wouldn't let go, and that's the reason why Sukihana tried to jump in. And she also also didn't go home when the other girls tried to evict her from the show. So I don't understand why Sukihana and everybody keep on saying that she's not defending herself. Just because she doesn't want to fight anymore doesn't mean that she doesn't defend herself. Now, Sukihana then decides to address Anna, and she basically said that the reason why she said that Anna should go home is because people have been telling her that she runs her mouth but doesn't back it up. And I thought that that was a little bit weird too, because so far everybody that, Anna had beef with, she addressed and actually fought. She got into it with Scotty a few episodes ago, and the two of them fought. Then she got into it with DJ Sky, and the two of them fought. She addressed everybody that she had an issue with. Now, I do like Anna. I really do like her. I feel like she's one of the people who should be on the show. But there is some things that she does this season that I don't really like, and I'm going to address some of that later on in this review. But I don't think that Anna needed to be addressed and told that she needed to go home. I just don't feel like she needs to. Then Sukihana ends up turning her attention to Mariahlynn, which I did think that it was a little bit of a punk move for Mariahlynn to say everything she wanted to say to Sukihana in her confessional, rather than just saying it to Sukihana's face when she was addressing her. But I will say that it is a little bit weird for me to see that Sukihana is now calling out Mariahlynn after she was the one helping her and defending her a few episodes ago when it came to Smiley and getting her chain back. I understand that Sukihana did have to address Smiley about the text message, but after that, Sukihana did not have to get involved any further, and she still did. So I just don't understand why now all of a sudden she has a problem with Mariahlynn. But what I will say is that Sukihana was right when she did say that Biggie and Smiley are the stars of the season. They are, because the other girls made them that way, because they kept talking about them and kept going at them, and so that's the reason why they are the stars. And so that definitely ruffled some feathers, because Rolly ended up going back and forth with Sukihana about that whole situation because she was upset about it. Obviously, she wants to be told that she's the star of the season, so she was upset about that. And even though Sapphire and Sukihana are friends, they don't agree on this situation, because Sukihana feels like Biggie and Smiley are the stars of the season because everybody gathered together just to hate the two of them. And Sapphire feels like the other girls have a reason not to like Biggie and Smiley, which I do not agree with Sapphire. The other girls absolutely do not have a reason to not like the two of them. They jumped on the bandwagon for what other girls had an issue with the two of them. I honestly feel like the only person that had a real reason to have an issue with Smiley is Mariahlynn because of the whole chain thing. But everybody else didn't have a reason to, because she didn't do anything to them. And honestly, nobody has a reason to have an issue with Biggie except for Rolly because of last season. But Rolly should let that go because that was last season. They didn't have to be friends, but the two of them don't have to have issues either. And obviously, because Rolly is upset and she's going back and forth with Sukihana, now Scarface ends up jumping into the situation and she starts going at Biggie again. So Biggie ends up picking up a chair because she basically said that if Scarface comes at her, she's going to take the chair and she's going to hit her with it. And honestly, I don't really blame her because Scarface keeps trying to attack her all the time and she doesn't even have a real reason not to like her. So I can understand why she did that. Do I agree with her doing it? No, I don't think she should have picked anything up, but she did what she felt she needed to do. And honestly, it worked because they all ended up leaving the restaurant. And at the very end of this episode, when everybody was getting on the buses to leave, this is when Anna starts going off on Smiley out of nowhere, and everybody's confused because they don't understand what exactly happened between the two of them. And nothing happened between them. Honestly, Anna claimed that the reason why she wanted to fight Smiley is because she feels like Smiley doesn't want to fight the bigger girls, but she wants to fight the skinny girls, and so she wants to fight her. And I don't understand why she wants to fight her because of that reason, because that doesn't make any sense. She didn't have any beef with any of the bigger girls this season. I mean, I do like Anna, but at the end of the day, she's going at Smiley for no reason. Like, she should have went at Sukihana the way that she's going at Smiley, because Sukihana is the one that called her out and said that she needed to go home. And at this point, Smiley is just laughing and trying to calm Anna down because she doesn't have any beef with her and she feels like Anna is drunk. And Anna might be drunk, but that doesn't excuse her behavior. You need to be able to control your alcohol, and if you can't, you don't need to drink. And so I think that Anna was whack for that, even though I do like Anna. Like, I really do like her. I think she stands up for herself. I think that she holds her own, even though she is skinny. And I mean, I like her. I think she's pretty. I think she's cool, but I don't think the way that she went at Smiley was right. And so I think that she was wrong for that. And a lot of the other girls were trying to tell Anna to just get on the bus. They want to leave, and if she's not going to go swing on Smiley, then she needs to be quiet. And so she kind of, in that particular moment, proved Sukihana right when she said that people have said that Anna runs her mouth and doesn't do anything to back it up. That kind of made her look like she was telling the truth about that because of the way that she just acted. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Baddies East. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.